Welcome to my channel. I'm Angelic Alchemy, and in this video, we're going to be going over the hidden systems behind gang stalking. From my own personal experience as being targeted for years and years, I do believe personally that there is a spiritual aspect as well as a physical aspect. There is a spiritual aspect to why you were being targeted, how you were chosen, who's in on it, and all of that. Even as far as the V2K, which is voice to skull technology, what people describe as microwave or high frequency weapon attacks, things like that. There is a spiritual nature, I believe, to all of that as well. But for this video, we are going to focus strictly on the logical mechanics of the system, what is documented and what a normal, rational individual would be able to understand and comprehend as far as the targeted individual gang stalking program goes. And then I'm going to do a part 2 where I delve into the spiritual nature and my opinion, corroborate that with other people's opinions, and tie that in to the logical aspects of it. But for this video, we're going to do the logical, rational reason and how it's utilized by our own government, basically, for the most part, and various branches, aspects, individuals, that sort of thing. So we're going to delve into the infrastructure, the corporations that are involved, the public-private partnerships, the protocols that are utilized, so on and so forth. So let's get into it. Okay, so what is a targeted individual, or TI? Targeted individuals are victims of government weaponization selected by the deep state, usually FBI, DHS, or CIA, to unwillingly participate in experimental CIA torture programs. 75% of victims do not realize they are targeted. This program was developed under the CIA's MK Ultra project, maybe you've heard of it, and is designed to break down the individual and neutralize the person using psychological, physical, and emotional stress. The ultimate goal of this program is to control the entire population through intimidation, fear, and threats. Conservatives, political activists such as J6ers, whistleblowers, scientists, and Christians are some of the main targets of the program. However, many people are randomly chosen. Family and spousal relationships are usually destroyed as part of the psychological torture that ensues. Targets are victims of lawfare and are illegally harassed, stalked, and surveilled. Okay, so a lot of this information I got off a site which is called targetedjustice.com. It's very good and informative if you are looking for information on targeted individuals. All of the information is strictly documentation, logical, rational things that you can see, touch, and feel. You know what I'm saying? It's not any kind of, well, it would be considered a conspiracy theory technically, but we won't go there. It's not you're being targeted because you're chosen. You know, it says that some people are randomly chosen. I don't know if anybody's randomly chosen. I personally believe that that's probably very unlikely if anybody is randomly chosen. It is possible, okay? But for the most part, there is a reason behind it. I'll get into that on my second video where we go into the spiritual nature of it. A lot of this information is from targetedjustice.com, which I said is a good site, but is strictly the physical aspects of it, nothing spiritual, supernatural, metaphysical, which some people need. Okay, so I don't know how to pronounce this word, honestly. I think it's Zersetzung. Okay, it's from the German Cold War, so Hitler's time. And it's a psychological warfare technique used by German Stasi, which was their secret police, to neutralize individuals without force, to neutralize political opponents of people who were on the other side and wanted different things, like the left versus the right, Democrats, Republicans, that kind of thing. But this is in the Cold War in Germany. So political opponents without making public arrests, disabling hostile individuals without the international backlash of imprisonment or physical violence. Psychological fragmentation, breaking down a person's confidence, belief systems, and social standing. Social isolation, severing the victim's connections with family, friends, and colleagues, leaving them with no support. Sound familiar? So common tactics for Zersetzung: gaslighting, breaking into homes, moving things, changing clock times, remove, sabotage small items to make the victim doubt their own sanity. Character assassination, spreading false rumors about a person's private life, health, or loyalty to their cause. Professional workplace sabotage, sending anonymous letters to employees, arranging for the victim to fail at specific tasks to ruin their career, etc. This was, prior to internet, social media, obviously. So targeted harassment, continuous, quote, bad luck experiences such as mysterious phone calls, flat tires, overcharged on bills, etc. Maybe you've experienced some of these things? Okay, now fast forward to 1956. COINTELPRO, which is the American equivalent of Zersetzung. It is the most frequently cited historical blueprint for why people believe modern targeting is possible. While Zersetzung was the East German Stasi's method of psychological decomposition, COINTELPRO was the American equivalent used by the FBI primarily between 1956 and 1971. These are some of the things that COINTELPRO was responsible for. The quote suicide letter. Most famously, the FBI sent an anonymous letter to Martin Luther King Jr., threatening to expose his personal secrets and strongly suggesting that he off himself. Snitchjacking. Agents would plant false evidence to make a group believe a loyal member was actually a government informant. This caused the group to turn on itself, often leading to internal violence or the target being ostracized. Discrediting. They would spread rumors to employers, landlords, and neighbors to get the target fired or evicted, effectively blacklisting them from society. Corruption and power. Friction and infighting. They sent forged letters between different civil rights leaders or groups like the Black Panthers and the U.S. organization to spark violent rivalries. So who was targeted by COINTELPRO? Civil rights leaders, MLK, Malcolm X, the Black Panther Party, anti-Vietnam war protesters, feminist organizations, environmental activists, Ku Klux Klan, extremists, no matter what side, the left or the right, and whistleblowers mostly. Basically, anybody who goes against their agenda, who doesn't want the same things they do, who is in their way and has some kind of status or power to do something about it. So COINTELPRO was secret and denied, of course, for decades by our government until a group of citizens broke into an FBI office in 1971 and stole the files. 8 citizens broke into a small FBI office in Pennsylvania during the huge fight between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. They stole over 1,000 documents and mailed them to newspapers. This led to the investigation that uncovered MKUltra, Operation Mockingbird, and Project Minari. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The documents revealed the targeting of lawful citizens, proof that the FBI was spying on American citizens that had committed no crimes. Our government was deploying psychological warfare on its own people, stalking, harassing, and successfully ruining targeted individuals' lives for years. The system apologized and promised to stop. Right. COINTELPRO never ended. The tactics simply evolved into a more high-tech, decentralized version involving community stalking and electronic harassment. Anybody with any kind of logical common sense that can put patterns together would tell you that there's no way they just promised to stop and then let's get real. So at some point between then and now, there has been the targeted individual program, which they will still tell you is not real, but they were saying COINTELPRO wasn't real also until the 8 citizens broke into the FBI office. Let's just keep that in mind. Okay, this program is an unacknowledged special access program, USAP, which means the president and Congress do not know about it. It is illegal. The CIA provides the funding under the black budget. In 2012, the State Department did extensive research for each country, estimating the maximum total number of terrorists worldwide at 184,000. That same year, the terrorist watch list run by the FBI had nearly 1 million name records worldwide. How does the FBI have names, addresses, driver license information, names of family and friends, while the State Department can only roughly estimate the numbers of known or suspected terrorists? The State Department also has access to the same watch list. So why are the numbers very different? Who is lying? Non-investigative subjects, NIS. The FBI uses the term non-investigative subject for many people listed on the watch list as known or suspected terrorists. Why would the FBI claim someone is a known or suspected terrorist and then not investigate them? Because most of the names on the watch list are targeted individuals, not terrorists. This information came from targetedjustice.com also. So who is targeted? Some of the main reasons that individuals will unwillingly find themselves targeted or part of this, quote, program are whistleblowers, truth tellers, people that have uncovered corruption or they deemed as a danger to uncover the corruption in some cases. Political activists, spiritually gifted, high vibrational chosen ones. You can believe that or you cannot. It's my personal belief and have various forms of evidence and data. Next video. Okay. Inherited bloodline targeting, same thing. Next video. Anyone who is a threat to the system or its agenda, anybody who has a different way of thinking, anybody who's not falling in line, they're not a sheep. They are noticing things are different. They're, in essence, waking up, trying to escape the matrix or escaping the matrix. And they're trying to pull you back in and make sure that you don't wake up or don't take anybody with you at least. So that's the way they get this all organized is they are taking us Americans and putting us on terrorist, quote, watch lists. The FBI and National Counterterrorism Center place innocent Americans and foreign civilians on 2 secret categories of the terrorist screening database that the FBI admits under penalty of perjury are reserved for people that do not meet the reasonable suspicion terrorist criteria, do not represent a threat to national security, and are placed there under, quote, secret criteria. These are the people victims of government weaponization and the infamous FISA Section 702 warrants that in 2020-2021 entailed 278,000 applications. This news article quotes NSA data. As of 2019, there are 300,000 targeted individuals in the United States and more than 5.5 million worldwide. The FBI calls these people targets or non-investigative subjects, NIS. Okay, this information is also from targetedjustice.com. The creator of targetedjustice.com, we worked for either the FBI or the CIA or something to that effect, just for a little bit of background. So this information is coming from inside. So it says, at the FBI, targeting officers or targeting coordinators identify and nominate targeted individuals to the suspected terrorist list, people whose only crime is being a whistleblower or political activist, at most. According to the Office of the Inspector General, 97% of these people have no known ties to terrorism, yet they are placed on this secret list and subjected to FISA warrants that have already been declared unconstitutional by the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York. FBI managers are paid bonuses up to $50,000 each year to add people to the list. Recently, the FBI started claiming that Catholics are domestic terrorists, and so are parents that object to child pornography in their schools. Right. Okay, so this is blurry. It's a screenshot from the site, but it's FBI's terrorist screening database. So watch list categories. Category 1, no-fly list, arrest immediately. Category 2, suspected terrorists, enhanced screening. And then down here, we have blacklist categories. Category 3 is aware targeted individuals, which is 22% roughly. Category 4 is unaware targeted individuals. Those two categories, so the targeted individuals, is 97% of the non-investigative subjects. 97%. Okay. Category 5, financial crimes and political persecution, less than 1%. Category X, used to protect elite globalists, instructs police do not arrest or detain. That explains a lot. Okay, so what is gangstalking? Gangstalking refers to the coordinated effort by a group of individuals to systematically harass, intimidate, and damage the reputation of the target in order to psychologically destabilize them. This commonly involves constant surveillance, organized stalking, spreading false rumors, workplace and financial sabotage, manipulating others to turn against them, and isolating the individual from their community. These and other tools and tactics are utilized to slowly push an individual past their psychological breaking point. It's essentially a collective, deliberate effort to undermine the individual's life to the point of destruction. It's Zersetzung all over again. It's 11:11 on the clock right now. Okay, some common gang stalking tactics. I do have a video where it goes over the gang stalking manual, which is an excerpt from a book that a doctor wrote. And it was a literal part of the manual that they trained these people with to gang stalk people. So that's on my channel. I'll try and remember to link it below so you can view that if you want. It's a more comprehensive list of all of the tactics that these people use. And there are so many, but there's just a brief one for sake of this video. Surveillance, of course. The targeted individual is constantly watched or followed by the group, whether it's through physical presence, surveillance equipment, or other methods. Spreading false information. Rumors or lies are spread about the targeted individual to damage their reputation and make them appear unstable, untrustworthy, or dangerous to others. Social isolation. The targeted individual is isolated by making others distrust them. This can involve reaching out to the target's friends, family, coworkers, or neighbors to manipulate them into turning against the person. And if they can't do that, don't worry. They'll just have them move into the houses around you, people that are already on the payroll. Psychological manipulation. Harassment and mental tactics such as gaslighting, making someone doubt their own reality, are employed to cause the target to question their own perception and sanity. Stalking and harassment. This could be direct, where the individual is followed or confronted in person, or indirect, where the target's every move is subtly manipulated through subtle cues and hints. Public humiliation. The group may engage in actions that embarrass or shame the individual in public places. This can include making the target feel like they are constantly being watched or ridiculed. Example, people walking by the subject start laughing out loud forcibly for no apparent reason, or coughing. Coercion or threats. The group may use threats or pressure tactics such as implying harm could come to the target if they don't comply with certain demands or keep quiet. Okay, so CIA, on the CIA end of it, victims are tortured with electromagnetic weapons and mind control tactics. Our numbers reflect that at least 62% suffer from the microwave auditory effect, also known as voice to skull or V2K. Again, this is from targetedjustice.com. These victims are negligently diagnosed as a psychotic or schizophrenic and consequently are illegally hospitalized and deprived of their freedom. Oh yeah, they got a whole system. This program was developed under the CIA's MKUltra project, merged with the FBI's COINTELPRO tactics. It is designed to break down and neutralize the person using psychological, physical, and emotional stress. Now, on the FBI and Department of Homeland Security coordinated side of the program, victims are denied justice in courts of law, denied benefits from government agencies, overbilled for taxes and utilities, subject to traffic interventions due to silent hits triggered by the Threat Screening Center, persecuted by the IRS, and victimized by break-ins, illegal surveillance, harassment, and stalking are some examples. Private companies collude by delivering wrong or damaged purchases, poisoning food, and reporting any service to your property through an FBI portal created for that purpose. The ultimate goal of this program is to control the entire population through intimidation, fear, and threats. So again, this is an unacknowledged special access program, which means that the security clearance is higher than the president, supposedly. Weird. Why would that even be a thing? Especially for something like this. Okay, so the FBI and DHS, Department of Homeland Security, fusion centers, maybe you've heard of those, run the global Gangstalking program, which is designed to harass, intimidate, and break down the target. The FBI outsources much of the local harassment to community groups such as InfraGard, Citizen Corps, and Neighborhood Watch. Targeted individuals are placed on the terrorist screening database and tracked as non-investigative subjects so that local police and ambulances can be instructed not to assist with their emergency calls through firstnet.com, which is run by AT&T. We're going to get into those. InfraGard, firstnet.com. Okay. So fusion centers. For almost 2 decades, the Department of Homeland Security has supported the development of a national network of 80 fusion centers. So at least one state will have, or at least every state will have at least one. Some will have more. There's 3 in Florida. Fusion centers incorporate federal, state, and local law enforcement personnel, first responders, and select private sector representatives to collect, analyze, and distribute intelligence. While the federal government initially promoted them as hubs for sharing counterterrorism information, fusion centers quickly expanded their missions to include any crimes or hazards. DHS provides these centers with funding, personnel, and access to federal intelligence, but it has failed to ensure that they have used these resources appropriately. As a result, fusion centers have long produced flawed analysis, abused their authority to monitor people engaged in First Amendment protected activities, and leak sensitive law enforcement information. This domestic intelligence model has undermined Americans' privacy, civil rights, and civil liberties. Okay, so we have a mind map here to kind of break it down. So at the top tier, we have federal intelligence, so the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, CIA. And then they will give their information to the fusion centers. So the mid tier, these are the data processors, and they will distribute that information to your local law enforcement, EMTs, first responders, private partners, security, InfraGard, and street level gang stalkers. Now, FirstNet, which is owned by AT&T, is going to be the bridge between these intelligence hubs and the actual wireless networks that are used by law enforcement and first responders. So the DHS, FBI, CIA gives the information to the fusion centers. Fusion centers then connect to all these lower levels through FirstNet. Okay, so if you are targeted and you've ever had a weird suspicion that these people have like an app or some way of communicating because it's just too coordinated, you would be correct. There's at least, well, there's multiple, it seems, but there's at least one very prominent means of communication that they have just for that. It's just for gang stalking or people who are non-investigative subjects. Okay, so that was FirstNet. That's their communication method, whatever you want to call it. InfraGard now is some kind of security company. Go look it up. It's interesting. Okay, so I got this off of the site. This is when I was looking up, what is InfraGard? What do they do? This is what I got. A national nonprofit organization that facilitates information sharing and intelligence between businesses, academic institutions, state and local law enforcement agencies, and other participants dedicated to preventing hostile acts against the United States. It supports FBI priorities in the areas of counterterrorism, foreign counterintelligence, and cybercrime. Just a little side note too, out of all of these programs, all of these government, entities, all of the tax dollars, all of the people targeted, followed, whatever, there has never been one incident of terrorism that has been stopped before it happened. Let's just keep that in mind, okay? Just put that in your notebook for later. Okay, so there are many who claim that, this is from targetedjustice.com, InfraGard is a terrorist organization that is controlled by the FBI. They break into people's homes, they threaten, steal, perform illegal surveillance, assault and battery, continuous harassment, and even attempted murder. Now, that is a quote that people claim. I do not have evidence of it. I'm not saying that that is true. I'm saying that they're on this site, which has very credible information. They said that people are claiming that InfraGard, this is what they really are. Do I agree with that? I have a tendency to lean more towards that than not. Do I have any evidence to the fact? Absolutely not. But use your discernment. You come to your own conclusions. Okay, so back to FirstNet. These are also theories that are from this site that more than multiple individuals have come to the same conclusion. People that are, they have intelligence, they have esteemed, a lot of these people, like I said, the creator of this site was working for the government. He was either the FBI, the CIA. You can look it up, if you so choose. But these are theories. Okay, so one is the priority access theory. Because FirstNet allows first responders to preempt or kick off civilian traffic on cell towers, quote, conspiracy theorists often claim this mechanism is used to isolate a target. The theory is that perps use FirstNet to jam a target's signal or create dead zones around them, ensuring the target cannot call for help or upload evidence, while the stalkers maintain a high-speed, encrypted connection to coordinate their movements. Okay, the second theory, geolocation and real-time tracking. Standard GPS is accurate, but FirstNet has specialized location services for finding first responders in, quote, Z-axis or altitude floor-level environments. The theory that FirstNet's precision tracking is used to monitor a TI's exact movement inside buildings, through walls, or in crowded areas. Proponents of this theory believe that the band 14 spectrum, which has high building penetration, is specifically used for through-the-wall surveillance. Okay, so a lot of people all over the internet are always asking, when does it stop? How long does it last? What is their goal? What is the end game? Okay, so the program is deemed a success when the TI succumbs to the torture perpetrated upon them, oftentimes taking their own life. That's not going to happen. Another alternative is to have the target incarcerated or institutionalized. This way, the organization can also blame the target for the various crimes committed while attacking the individual's life to make them appear unstable and nefarious. Wow. I personally also have a theory that besides beating the system, which is the one that we're choosing, okay, that's our option. If you're in my collective, you're watching my videos and you are targeted, that's your option. That's your only option, beating the system. Okay. But besides beating the system and the two that I just mentioned, there's another option that I believe a lot of targeted individuals have likely defaulted to in the past, which is kind of a normalized psychosis. And what I mean by that is choosing to go back to sleep. Meaning that the outside circumstances that this person is experiencing are so heavy, it's so psychologically just, they can't handle it. And especially previously, people did not have the tools that we have at our disposal. They didn't have the internet for the most part. They didn't have all these people talking about it. If they brought up anything, they were viewed as crazy. Imagine that. And so obviously the whole point of the program is to make sure they don't have any support systems, make sure they don't have anything. So a lot of individuals, I'm sure, did default to this, which is telling themselves they're making it all up, that they must have been overthinking. It's not real. It can't be. It's too unrealistic. It's too crazy. There's no way that is what's happening. They must be crazy. Okay. Now, we're not talking about like going to check yourself in to a psych ward or being Baker acted and put on some psych meds, God forbid. We are talking about just putting rose-colored glasses on, putting your blinders on, and just pretending like it's not happening. Now, if you were to choose to do that, you're not going to stop being targeted, but it's just going to lessen. The severity of it will not be as intense, because at that point, they are only doing it to a point where they can make sure that you stay asleep, just to ensure that you're not able to try and exit the matrix again. You're not trying to wake up again. So they're not doing all this hardcore targeting harassment to try and make you lose your mind anymore, because you have basically given them what they wanted. You're not trying to exit the system. You have accepted the system and the structure that they want you to be in. And now they're just going to monitor you and just put obstacles and blockages in your way just enough to make sure that you can't prosper enough to be able to get to a place where you would think about trying to wake up again or exit the matrix, basically. That is a theory. That is my personal theory. But I believe that it is probably more common than these other end games. Okay, so what do you mean the government's putting us on watch lists even though we haven't done anything and there's not even any kind of a hint of evidence saying that we are a threat to our country? Like I said, they've never even stopped any kind of terrorist threat from happening. It's all bullshit. Isn't that illegal? Why, yes, it is more than illegal, actually. It's unconstitutional, for one thing. I mean, it's everything but legal or moral. Yes, it's legal. The federal government cannot simply designate someone as a terrorist, since that violates the due process rights of the 5th and 14th Amendments of the U.S. Constitution, which is why they do it in secret. If you cannot charge someone with a crime and are not actively investigating them, they shouldn't be on a watch list. Either investigate and charge people or leave them alone. Okay, so for general operations, we have passive surveillance and then active surveillance. Passive surveillance usually is in the beginning, before you even have caught on to the fact that you have a bunch of weirdos targeting you and stalking your every move, which is watching a target covertly to gather information. Now, likely you probably still felt like you're being watched. As a human, you can tell when somebody is watching you. Your hairs on your neck stand up. You get the feeling of being watched, whether you can actually see them or not. Your intuition, whatever you want to call it, it knows, okay? So, and then we have active surveillance. The agents make the target know that they're under surveillance. So they're still doing all this weird shit, but they're more overt with it because they want you to start picking up on patterns so you get paranoid and all that. So agents observe the target around the clock through physical and electronic means. They report as many detailed observations as possible to the control center, or the fusion center. The supervisors give the agents precise instructions to punish the target in ways specifically tailored for that individual. These acts are all deniable, which means any attempt to report these events to the police will simply be viewed as the target's overactive imagination. They continuously deploy these tactics meant to make the target feel as uncomfortable as possible day after day, sabotaging and slowly destroying every aspect of their life in a way that is nearly impossible to prove or report. They also smear the target's name and ruin any credibility they may have had to make it so they are not believed and cannot receive assistance. So, from my information that I've gathered and my personal experience, this is accurate. You are watched around the clock, not just when you leave the house. Most likely you have a neighbor that was already there that has been bought, like bribes, whatever, or they have had them move into the houses around you. And let me tell you, they do that. I moved out of state. Monitoring spirit, Nat. Next video, right? I don't have gnats in my house, except when I talk about things like this. I moved out of state. A whole other state. And I hadn't even really understood what targeting was or gang stalking or anything before that, even though I had been targeted and had been being gang stalked. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know the terms, that kind of thing. But then it started happening again in a new state where I didn't know anybody and started getting a little bit suspicious, actually a lot of suspicious, but we try and rationalize it. We logic everything out. Well, I'm probably overthinking, whatever it is we tell ourselves. But the thing that really helped me figure it out, or the thing that allowed me to see the severity of it, was when I went on road trips with my children to go to the beach and whatever. And no matter where I went, no matter what part of whatever state I was in, we were being followed by people who were looking suspicious, vehicles that I recognized, the same vehicles doing the same things, and to the point where my children noticed, and they're like, I could tell you stories for days with that kind of things. But at that point, I was like, okay, this is bigger than I have been able to grasp before this point. And then once I could understand and comprehend how big this actually is, then I was able to see the many aspects of it. And it's crazy. It's like, why are they so obsessed with us? Just kidding. We'll get into that on the second video. Okay, so what to do if you think you're targeted? Number one, stay calm, centered as much as possible, and vigilant. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't put yourself in compromising situations. Listen to your intuition and trust your gut always. Do not question your own sanity, especially if you're somebody who is very self-aware. Like, you know what you know, okay? You are somebody that can read people, you pick up on patterns, and you are very aware of your own moods, how you think, how you see things, how you communicate, stuff like that. You don't need to question your sanity because it's probably even crazier than you even think it is. Okay, and your intuition is probably more on point than you can even imagine. When you get these random thoughts in your head, you're like, oh, well, I don't know where that came from. Yeah, most likely your intuition. Okay, so gang stalking is very real. It happens every motherfucking day. Okay, take care of your mental, physical, and emotional health as if your life depends on it, because it does. It really does. You need to do whatever you can to stay centered, to stay calm, to be able to go through your day to day and do the things that you have to do, because it doesn't matter what's going on. Like, we still have to do certain things. We have to eat. If you have kids, you have to feed your kids. You need to take care of your kids. You have to go to work, or you have to find whatever. I mean, if you can't even go to work because you probably have been financially targeted also, and blacklisted and blackballed and all sorts of things, and good luck trying to get hired anywhere, no matter how good of a resume you might have or how skilled you are. You know, there's a spiritual aspect to that as well. Next video. But either way, there are things that you need to do, and you have to be in a calm, level-headed, balanced place to be able to properly do them. And it is very easy to get out of that when you're constantly being attacked. You have the sound shit that they do. They do these campaigns with noise, the street theater, that you're being followed and fucked with everywhere you drive, everywhere you go. There's an issue every time you try and call somebody. All your shit's hacked. You know, things are happening left and right. Like, it is literally meant to drive you crazy. It's, you know, it's effective. But you also can come out the other side, because these people, they just don't understand. If you stick close to God, there's nothing they can do besides annoy you, like literally try and irritate you to death, which is what they'll try and do. Don't get me wrong. Document everything. Keep a journal of daily occurrences. Every time something weird happens, your thoughts, all of the abnormal experiences you have. Not only can you use this later as evidence, later on down the road, but it will help you pick up on patterns and prove to yourself that you're not imagining things. You know, you are not overthinking, you're not being paranoid. You know, you can put the patterns together and it's like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was. It just helps you to keep your peace of mind, you know. Set up cameras outside your home and inside if possible. If you can, obviously, like I said, we get financially attacked. Finances are an issue. You know, sometimes you can't even get a camera. If you can't get a camera, it's only on Wi-Fi because you can't even afford the SD card, okay? Trust me, I know. But if you are able to, and when you are able to, get good cameras with night vision that are outside and inside of your house if you can. And Wi-Fi, obviously, they can hack. Don't get it twisted. And they do, and they will. Absolutely. And they will hack pretty much everything that you have. Cover up your cameras on your devices. Your tablets, your computers, your phone, if you're not using it or you have different devices, that little camera hole. And they make stuff that you can buy that looks a little bit more official, and there's even ones that can slide open and closed. But if not, like, I literally cut up little stickers in circles and put them over there, and then if I had to use that camera for any reason, I would take it off. Is it annoying? Yeah, but what's the alternative? They're hacking into your shit and watching you. It's creepy as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And if you have a vehicle, invest in a dash cam when you can, because you want to be able to document anything and everything, because they love to do weird shit when you're driving, and God forbid they do anything to your vehicle. Hopefully you can get that on camera and have it as evidence, because you're going to need it. One of the most important things is stay calm. Do not engage. They want you to act out. They want you to look crazy. They want you to have emotional reactions in public so they can record it, and then they can use it to show how mentally unstable you are. Okay? So do not give them that satisfaction. Do not give them anything to use against you. Does that mean that you can't have a little fun with it? Absolutely not. I do all the time. Can you flick them off sometimes when you're driving? Absolutely. I suggest it. I like, I'll give them dirty ass looks. Sometimes I'll just, just so they know that I see them. Most of the time, like, they know that I see them, but like, So they switch cars up too. So you can try and document the cars and then document the tags and stuff. I did that for a while, but they just end up switching it. So it's kind of almost pointless. I mean, you can still do that for your peace of mind, and maybe that will help you in some cases. But in my experience, they just end up switching the vehicles, and they're always switching the plates. They have military plates a lot, or temporary tags. Doesn't have to be always, but in my experience, that's what I've seen. I see a lot of white, silver, and red vehicles also. There has been other ones, black, whatever. But for the most part, it seems like there's a theme with that. Don't know, don't care, but that's my own personal experience. In most cases, going to the police is not going to do anything but make it absolutely worse because they are in on it. They're going to look at you like you're fucking crazy. They could try and say that you're crazy, get you Baker acted. I don't know. Everybody's experience is going to be different case to case, but in most cases, it's probably just going to make it worse, and I would try and avoid it. I have personally seen, they're all connected. All of the lower level departments, the sheriffs maybe, but I'm talking like the city, counties, all that, they all know. They probably all know who you are. So if you see them and you feel like they're watching you and they know who you are, even though logically they shouldn't, they probably do. Okay, if you don't already have one, cultivate a strong prayer life. This is, I'm going to say essential, okay? Meaning if you aren't really super close to God and you don't pray through this whole experience, I mean, I personally don't think that's the best, brightest idea, but you most likely will still make it out because you are protected, you're covered. But I mean, why would you want to do that the hard way? You know what I'm saying? This is getting more into the spiritual aspect of it, but with the possible exception of certain people who work for the government and who were uncovering corruption and were whistleblowers, and that's why they're being targeted. But maybe even that, when you are targeted, you are gang stalked, whatever you want to call it, it is for a reason, okay? I don't believe that anyone is just randomly selected for this. They are not wasting all those resources and doing all this weird shit for no reason. There is an absolute agenda behind it. And it is not because you're weak. Why would a whole team of weirdos have to gang up against you if you were weak? You're one person all by yourself, okay? And they do all this and get you alone and you're still kicking, okay? That should tell you right there that you're meant for more and that this is not meant to take you out. It's meant to activate you. You're not being targeted because you're weak. It's actually the opposite. They are afraid of what will happen if you, quote, wake up, if you exit the matrix, you realize your inner strength and resilience. Like I said, there not be a mass collaborative effort with so many individuals and resources if you were not so powerful all by yourself because you have God. You are meant to wake up, exit the matrix, and then help others to do the same. You are meant to wake up to the agenda that's going on, the covert agenda with our government, all of it, the elites, the New World Order, genocide, whatever you want to call it. It's the same shit. The same thing that happened in the Cold War in Germany. They are trying to do it here, basically. If we're going to sum it up like it is, throughout history, there's cycles, repeating patterns. Okay, this is the cycle where the shit ends. Okay, we are that change. So if you are a targeted individual, own it, embrace it, and rock it out, basically. It's not easy. It's not. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it. You're supposed to wake up to the matrix so you can exit it and then tell others how to do the same thing. Bring everybody. The closer you get and stay to the Most High, the less effective their tactics will have on you. You will be guided away from danger, and every attempt that they take on your life, every attack that they send will start to backfire, and it will level you up. Okay, so like I said, the closer you get to God, the less they can do to you, because everything that they throw at you will just make you stronger. And I don't mean that in like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, that too. But also you will start, we'll get into that in the next video. Like I said, the closer you get to God, the more they will be exposed, the less their tactics will work on you, and the quicker you can get this over with if you want to look at it like that. So, like I said, they cannot stop you. They cannot take you out. They want you to think that they can't. They want to get in your head and psychologically put you in a place of fear so that you think that they are going to unalive you. I've seen many people that are targeted individuals that are actually in fear, like these people are going to take me out. Now that is valid. I think that we've probably all been there at one point or another, but basically they can't stop you, so they want you to stop yourself. They can't take you out, so they want you to take yourself out. Okay, and when you can grasp that and acknowledge it and let it sink in, then it's a game changer. The whole game changes. When you figure out that no matter what weird ass shit they do, no matter how many times they attack you, how many aspects of your life they destroy, they want to just irritate you all day, every day, and just cause obstacles and whatever. That's literally all they can do. Is it annoying? Yes. Does it make you want to hurt people? Yes. Does it seem unfair? Yes, it is. It's unfair. It's unjust. It's not okay. Okay, all of those things are valid. Those are valid emotions. It's a valid way to feel. But if you can accept and understand that they can't fucking stop you and that all you have to do is just keep going and not give up, and then eventually at some point you will come out the other side of this and you will get everything that you deserve. Everything that was stolen from you and more. Everything. You will receive it back. You're not meant to live like this for the rest of your life. You're not going to be targeted and struggling and isolated for the rest of your life. That's not how this goes. Okay? If you understand that, it's a game changer. It is a game changer. Once you understand that they can't do anything except inconvenience you and literally try and irritate you to death, it can become fun, but not in any kind of normal sense of the word fun, but fun for being a targeted individual, if you get what I'm saying. You can begin to take your power back. You flip the script on them because it's a matter of when you will overcome this and not if. Like I said, when you can rest assured that God and all of the forces of the universe that he has at his disposal are protecting you, and that what he has for you, nobody can keep from you indefinitely. They can't keep you from receiving it. It becomes much easier to fight the good fight. It is not easy. We all get tired and we want to give up sometimes. But when you understand that the win is guaranteed, as long as you don't give up, it will give you the strength and the resilience you need to persevere and make it out to the other side. Okay. And that's a 100% guarantee. So if you don't believe in God, hopefully you do. I mean, find something to believe in is all I can say. Also, there's like a real aversion that people have to Jesus in the name of Jesus. This is not an accident. This is intentional. It's been at play for a long time. Okay. They have intentionally done all sorts of things to make people have religious traumas and stuff like that, to where we feel it's weird. We're averted to, whatever the case is, we as a species seem to have like an aversion to Jesus and even the name of Jesus. Now, somebody who has been attacked, targeted, and everything that you can imagine, dealing with all sorts of demons, because that's what these people are. Whether you want to look at it the way or not, you probably should. It'll help you a lot if you can see them for what they are, which is demonically possessed, basically. The name of Jesus is powerful. Demons tremble and flee at the name of Jesus, okay? If you have ever experienced somebody that has a demon, or a demon just being, it doesn't have to be on somebody, it's just a demonic experience, and you have used the name of Jesus, you know for a fact that it is fucking powerful, and it's one of the only things, maybe the only thing in a lot of cases, that's going to get that thing to get away from you, to get off of you, whatever the case is, okay? So even if it feels weird, use the name of Jesus when you need to, for sure. I mean, you should use it all the time. All the time. It just makes everything more powerful. It makes your prayers more powerful. You say in the name of Jesus. Okay. And definitely if you're dealing with demonic attacks, oppression, whatever, get used to using the name Jesus, because you're going to need it. And they're terrified of Jesus. They really are, because he's a G. Let me tell you. Okay. So, and then one more thing is talk about it. Talk about it. Tell your story. Now, if you can't safely just tell your story, then use your discernment, okay? Obviously, you don't want to go around telling all your family members and friends, because they're going to think you're fucking crazy. Like I said, use your discernment. You don't have to be making videos online. Do whatever you can do safely to get your story out. Channel it into some kind of creative endeavor, whether that's blogging, videos, podcasts, journaling, whatever, just talking, like groups online, whatever. You know what's good for you. You know what you should do. And if you don't, meditate on it. But somehow, some way, channel this into a creative endeavor that can get your story out, so you can talk about it, so you can help others, and so it will help the exposure. Okay, that is also essential. It needs to be brought to light. That's how we overcome things, is by one, naming it. Okay, so I think that's essential too. So like I said, the next video, I'm going to do a part 2, and I'm going to get into the spiritual nature of gangstalking, because there absolutely is one. So if you're interested in that, I will be working on that, and should be coming within the next week, hopefully at the latest. Yeah. So hopefully you got some good information, so you can begin to take your power back and take control of your life. So I will see you on the next one. I have a lot of other content that might be useful or interesting to you, you can look on my page. And hope you all have a great day. Stay safe. You got this. Don't give up. Keep pushing. God loves you. I love you. I hope you all have a great day.